In the previous lectures, we have seen the operation of diode, the characteristics of diode, static and dynamic resistance, and some numericals related to diode. Now let us move ahead to the second part of this unit, which is the application of diode, that is rectifier. Now, what is the meaning of rectifier? First of all, we will see that, and then we'll analyze the different types of rectifiers which are available. So let us move ahead and see the definition of rectifier. Now, the process by which we convert AC voltage or current to pulsating DC voltage or current is known as rectification, and the device used for this task is called as a rectifier. Now remember, the power supply that we have is AC power supply, and if we want to convert that AC power supply to a constant DC power supply, because you know that the home appliances which we operate need a DC power supply. AC power supply is a fluctuating power supply which changes with respect to time, but for application or for home appliances or for electronic appliances in general, we require a constant power supply, and that constant power supply can be achieved by converting your AC power supply to DC power supply. And for that purpose, the mechanism which is deployed or the device which is deployed is known as a rectifier, and the entire process is called as rectification. So if I want to draw the block diagram of it, it will be a simple thing. Let us say this is rectifier. So the input to the rectifier will be AC, and the output that we will be getting is called as pulsating DC. Now what is the meaning of pulsating DC? I will tell you. Pulsating DC will contain maximum DC, but it will also contain some part of AC which is not eliminated. See, the task of rectifier was to completely convert AC to pure DC. But rectifier is not that efficient. It will not fully converting the AC power supply to DC power supply, but it converts AC power supply to pulsating. What is the meaning of pulsating? The meaning of pulsating is that DC which you get as output of rectifier will not be pure DC, but it will contain maximum DC but some AC part, and that some AC part which is unwanted in this output is called as a ripples. These are called as ripples. So we can say that ripples are nothing but it is the AC component present in the pulsating DC output, and that needs to be calculated. Why? Because our primary task was to convert AC to pure DC. But now what rectifier has done? Rectifier has converted AC to pulsating DC, that means DC plus AC. So still we have some AC component present which are unwanted that we want to remove, and for that purpose we will study another device which is called as filter. So that will filter out these ripples from the pulsating DC output, and the output of filter will be DC. So if I want to see the entire process, I can draw a block diagram like this. So this will be your rectifier, and the supply that you will be applying to it as an input is AC. Then you will be getting a pulsating DC, that I will say DC plus AC, and let us term it as pulsating DC, and that will be given to filter, and then you will be getting a pure DC output. So we need to study both these things. We need to study rectifier, we need to study filter. So let us concentrate on rectifier first, and then we will be moving to filters. Now I have told you, or I have defined rectifier as the process by which we convert AC voltage or current to the pulsating DC voltage or current, and that process is called as rectification, and the device that we use using diode is called as rectifier. Now remember, this rectifier is broadly divided into two types. The first one is called as half wave rectifier and another is called as full wave rectifier. Half wave rectifier and full wave rectifier. And further, full wave rectifier is divided into two parts. One is called as center tap full wave rectifier and another is called as bridge rectifier. So bridge rectifier is nothing but it is part of full wave rectifier only. So rectifier broadly classified into two types, half wave rectifier and full wave rectifier, and the full wave rectifier is further classified into center tapped full wave rectifier and bridge rectifier. Now what is the meaning of these all? In the course of time we will be moving ahead, we will be analyzing every type. So I will be telling you what is the meaning of half wave rectifier, what is the meaning of center tap full wave rectifier, what is the meaning of bridge rectifier. So all these three types we need to study in this unit and we will be considering it one by one. Okay, so let us continue and start with the first type of rectifier, which is half wave rectifier. So let us move ahead. So let's start with first one, that is half wave rectifier. Now remember this, when I will be starting with any of the rectifiers, I will be following one agenda that I will be following for each and every rectifier. First of all, its introduction, then its construction, then its working, then its waveforms, input and output, and then analysis. So this is the way or the protocol that we will be following for each and every rectifier. So let us start with the introduction. Now what is the meaning of half wave rectifier and how it is used to rectify the AC input voltage? Now half wave rectifier, briefly abbreviated as HWR, is the device which utilizes only half cycle of AC input waveform. Meaning is, it converts only half cycle of input waveform to the desired output. Okay. See here, when I apply AC input, so AC input will have two half cycles. If I consider a full cycle, so let us draw it in terms of voltage. So it is, let us say, input voltage Vi with respect to omega t. So AC input will be a sinusoidal wave, right? So it will be 0 to pi to 2 pi to 3 pi and so on, right? So it will be utilizing only the half wave of the input waveform. So if I consider a full wave from 0 to 2 pi, only half cycle will be utilized. This cycle will not be utilized, and that's why we have said half wave rectifier is a device which utilizes only half cycle of the AC input and remaining half cycle is not utilized. So when I am applying 100% input, only 50% is being utilized and that is converted to the output. So hence its efficiency is going to be low. Why? Because it is discarding the half input, only half input is being converted to the desired output. so its efficiency is going to be low. So this is the introductory part of half-wave rectifier. Half-wave rectifier is a device which utilizes only half cycle of the AC input waveform, and it consists of it converts only the half cycle of the input to the desired output, and that's why its efficiency is going to be low. Now let us talk about construction. So now see here, if I want to write the construction, logically I will be in need of a device which will provide me input, and a device which will rectify, and one is output. So these three things we need to draw or sketch. So let us start with the diagram. So input is the AC power supply. Why? Because rectifier is a device which converts AC power supply to pulsating DC power supply. So AC input will be our input side, right? So AC input is provided by the transformer. So let us draw the transformer. Usually a step down transformer. So its primary will be our VI, which is 230 volt 50 hertz AC supply. 230 volt 50 hertz AC power supply. It's a standard value. Then we will be having one diode that we will be utilizing for the rectification purpose, and a resistor across which the output will be taken. So remember, across this resistance called as load resistance RL, the output will be taken, and this output I am talking about V0. So input is VI. I have used a transformer which is a step down transformer. So this 230 volt will be stepped down by the ratio, turn ratio, and that will be given to the diode. Let us say diode is D, and across load resistance RL I will be getting the output called as V0, and I am considering that I will be the current flowing through the circuit. I will be the current that will be flowing through the circuit. So in construction part, what I can write is, it consists of a diode, so either germanium or silicon. So I have told you that silicon is preferred. Why? Because it is thermally more stable as compared to germanium. So silicon diode will be preferred. A diode, so I will write a silicon diode maybe, right? Then a step down transformer and load resistor RL. So these are the three things only that we can write in the construction. So it consists of a silicon diode, a step down transformer, and a load resistance RL across which the output is taken. So I have, see, out of the protocol we have finished two things. Introduction is finished, construction is finished. In introductory part we have written that it utilizes only the half cycle of the input waveform, remaining half is not utilized, and that's why its efficiency is going to be low. Now what is in the construction? It consists, so diagram, circuit diagram. So it consists of a silicon diode used for rectification purpose, a step down transformer which will give us the input AC power supply, and a load resistance RL across which we will get the output. Okay, now let us move to the next part, which is called as working. Okay, so before we understand working, I will just tell you some of the properties of diode again that we have already studied, but still see this. Now diode can act as resistance. Diode can act as a resistor. Now how it can act as a resistor? See this. When I apply forward bias to diode, maximum current flows through the diode. Okay, so I can say that if the diode is ideal, its forward resistance means RF, forward resistance is going to be 0. Ideal diode, forward resistance is 0. And if I am considering a practical diode, its RF is going to be very small. I have told you, in forward bias the resistance comes out to be very small, but if I am considering it to be ideal, the RF is 0. If RF is 0 means resistance is 0, the current flowing through that resistance is going to be maximum, right? and that's why I can say that when the diode is in forward bias, it will act as a short circuit. It will act as a short circuit. Means it will allow entire current to flow through it. It will allow the entire current to flow through it. So a forward bias diode is nothing but it is a short circuit, or I can say it is a closed switch. See this. This is a switch. If this switch is closed, then only the current will flow. And we are saying that in forward bias, how much current flows? Maximum current flows. So it is a closed switch. Because it is a closed switch, that's why maximum current is flowing. Now exactly opposite will happen in the reverse bias. Zero current flows in the reverse bias, ideally. And practically only some current flow, that is because of minority charge carriers. And that's why we say that the resistance called as RR, means reverse resistance, is ideally infinite, and practically it is into 10 to the power 6 range, that is maximum mega ohms. Okay, now I can say if the diode is considered to be ideal, no current should flow. If current is not flowing, that means you are applying a maximum resistance, and that maximum resistance is infinite. So I can say that in reverse bias, the diode acts as open circuit, or in terms of switch, if I want to talk, I will say it will act as open switch. So closed switch or on switch. So open switch or off switch. Okay, I hope you have got this. See again, this diode, when it is in forward bias, can be replaced by a short circuit, and when the diode is in reverse bias, then it can be replaced by the open circuit. Okay, but for that purpose, remember, you need to assume that the diode is ideal. That is very important, because practical diode will have some forward resistance and 10 to the power 6 range reverse resistance. So that you need to consider while analyzing. We will consider that the diode is ideal. So what is the meaning of diode to be ideal? I will replace diode by short circuit when it is in forward bias, and I will replace diode by open circuit when it is in reverse bias. So with this information, let us try to go for the working of the rectifier. Okay. So what I will do, I will again draw the circuit. Again I will draw the circuit, and then we will consider this. See this, I am drawing the circuit. This is your transformer, step down transformer. Then we have a diode. Then we have a load resistance RL, and then this output V0. This is RL, the current flowing through it is I. This diode I am terming as D. This is your input Vi, which is 230 volts, 50 Hertz AC power supply, and this is your step down transformer. Okay. Now to this transformer, what is the AC input applied? The AC input applied is this. Let us say let us draw it. Let us say Vi time t, let us say omega t, and then I will draw a full wave with its maximum amplitude Vm, and this to be minus Vm. Okay, so I have applied this AC power supply, which is being provided by this transformer, having peak voltage of Vm, maximum voltage Vm, and in negative cycle maximum voltage is minus Vm. Okay, so what is the formula for this? So I can say Vi, because it is a sinusoidal wave, I will say Vm sine omega t, where Vm is the peak voltage and sine omega t because it is a sine waveform. Okay, now it is two half cycles. This is positive half cycle and this is negative half cycle, and on the basis of this I am going to write the working of this rectifier. So I will write first positive half cycle. Means I am considering that we have applied the positive half cycle. Now see what will happen. When positive half cycle is applied to this circuit, this point is going to be positive. So let us say A point and point B. So when you apply positive half cycle, point A becomes positive and point B becomes negative. See, it is applied like this. So okay. So point A becomes positive and point B becomes negative, and that positive voltage is applied to the anode of the diode, and the cathode is connected to the negative power supply. Okay, so that will drive the diode into forward bias because its anode will be at higher potential with respect to cathode. Now when the diode is in forward bias, now I have told you in the earlier slide that it can be replaced by a short circuit. So we write, when in points we will write, when positive half cycle of input is applied, point A becomes positive and point B becomes negative. Therefore, anode of the diode D, so right, point B, will be at higher potential with respect to cathode. Okay, therefore diode D will be in forward bias. Now before I start, I need to assume here, assume diode to be ideal, and that assumption will give me the freedom to assume the forward resistance of the diode to be 0 and reverse resistance of the diode to be infinity. So let us say diode D will be in forward bias, therefore it can be replaced by short circuit. Okay, so let us replace it by short circuit. So I will draw the circuit again. This is your transformer. So I'm drawing these 2 points, I'm shorting them, then a resistance, and here V0 output, this is resistance RL, this is your input, and the current flowing through it is I, and I guess, and this is D on. What is the meaning of D on? Diode is on, that is in forward bias. Now see this, the entire current flows through RL now because there is no resistance in between. So whatever input you are providing, the same current is going to flow through RL. See this, nothing is stopping this current I to flow through the circuit, and that's why the entire input is appearing at the output voltage, right? So I can say that in this condition what will happen, the input Vi is, it will be equal to V0. The input Vi will be equal to V0 because the entire input which is appearing here, it is because of this short, it will go through RL and therefore it will reach V0. So entire input will be appearing at the output. Okay, now what will happen in the reverse bias? See this. So, or I will say negative half cycle. Again, consider the points when negative half cycle of input is applied, point A becomes negative and point B becomes positive. Therefore, anode of diode D will be at lower potential now. with respect to cathode. Therefore, diode D will be in reverse bias and it can be replaced by open circuit. Now see this, here it was replaced by short circuit, now I can replace it by open circuit. So what will be the diagram here? The diagram will be, again I am drawing just roughly, I am drawing, now it is replaced by open circuit. So this is your V0, this is resistance RL, current I flowing, and I will say this condition is D off, diode is off. Now what will happen, because of this open circuit, now the current cannot flow to the circuit, and therefore the value of I becomes 0, and therefore what is V0? V0 is the voltage across RL. See, by Ohm's law, V is equal to IR, that is, in this case V is equal to I into RL. But what is the value of I? I is 0, and therefore the output becomes 0. So V0 will be 0 in this case. So here V0 will be 0. In the previous case, what was the value of V0? It was equal to the input voltage. In this case, it is exactly 0 because the current is stopped by this open circuit. Okay. Now, as per our protocol, the next part is waveform. So let us draw the waveform logically. So I will draw input and output waveforms together. So let us say this is your input voltage 0 omega t. So I have drawn two full cycles. Let us draw this to be omega t, and this is your output voltage V0, and let us consider the upper peak voltage is Vm and the lower peak voltage was minus Vm for the input waveform. Similarly here the same thing will occur. Okay, just taking this to down so that I can draw the diagram in proportion. And here I am just writing the omega t values. 4 pi, so on. So it is again 0, pi, 2 pi, 3 pi, 4 pi. See this, what will happen. This is positive half cycle, this is negative half cycle, this is positive half cycle, this is negative half cycle. Now as per our working, when the diode, when the forward bias is applied or positive power supply is applied, the output is equal to the input, means input is Vm and 0, means 0 to Vm and then back to 0. So we'll sketch as it is, and I will let us draw this to be the level called as Vm. Okay. Now in the reverse bias what will happen, or the negative half cycle what will happen, the V0 becomes 0. So for the entire period pi to 2 pi, the output is going to be 0. Again positive half cycle comes, so input will be equal to output, and again for 3 pi to 4 pi, because the input is negative half cycle, the output is going to be 0. So you can see this, only positive half cycle is being used by this rectifier, negative half cycle is not being used, and that's why this is called as half wave rectifier. Why? Because it is using only the half cycle of the input waveform. It is using only the half cycle of the input waveform, only positive half cycle, only the positive half cycle is being converted to the output. Negative half cycle is becoming 0. Again positive half cycle is being converted to output, and the negative half cycle is becoming 0. So rectifier will have only positive half cycle as the output. Half wave rectifier will have only the positive half cycle will be positive half cycle as the output, and the negative half cycle is being clipped. Negative half cycle is being clipped. So that's why it is also called as negative clipper. It is also called as negative clipper, which clips the negative half cycle. Half wave rectifier is also called as negative clipper, which clips the negative half cycle, and only positive half cycle will be there. So this is the working and the waveforms, input and the output waveforms of the half wave rectifier. So let us name this. This is input waveform, and I will say this is output waveform. Okay. Now let us move ahead and see the analysis of the last part of this is analysis, which is very important to understand how this actually works mathematically. Theoretically we have seen, but how it works mathematically, that is what we need to see in the part called as analysis. So let us move ahead and see the analysis of half wave rectifier. Till now what we have seen the first part. I will just summarize the things for you. So we have seen the introduction part, in which we have written it utilizes only the half cycle, and the next half cycle is not being used by the rectifier. That's why we say that only half cycle is being utilized, and that's why it is called as half wave rectifier, and therefore its efficiency is going to be low. It consists of a diode, then a step down rectifier, step down transformer, which provides me the AC power supply, and a load resistance RL, across which I will be taking the output. Okay. Then comes the working part that we have seen. In working part we have considered two half cycles, because we are applying a AC power supply, that is sine wave, which consists of a positive half cycle and a negative half cycle. So when I apply a positive half cycle, the anode of this diode becomes positive with respect to cathode, which drives this diode into forward bias, and forward bias diode can be replaced by a short circuit. So when I replace this by a short circuit, I have called it to be D-on condition. Don't read it as DON. Okay, it is D-on condition. So it will be replaced by a short circuit. So therefore entire input, the current will be flowing through the RL, and therefore V0 will be equal to Vi. The entire input appears at the output, because there is no resistance in between, which is stopping the input to reach to the output. And then when we apply the negative half cycle, then what happens? Then the anode of the diode will be at lower potential with respect to cathode. That will drive the diode into reverse bias, and it can be replaced by open circuit. And when it is open circuit, the current becomes zero. This current becomes zero, and output V0 is nothing but it is the current flowing through this resistance multiplied by resistance, because Ohm's law says V is equal to IR. Okay, so I is the current flowing through that, RL is the resistance, and therefore the multiplication of I into R will give me V0, which is 0. So output in this case is going to be 0. Then we have seen the waveforms. See the input waveforms. It consists of positive, negative half cycle. I have taken the time frame 0 to pi to 2 pi to 3 pi to 4 pi. Then in the output you can see when I apply the positive half cycle, the output will be equal to input. When I apply negative half cycle, the output is going to be 0, right? And therefore I can say the output will be Vm, the output is going to be 0, then it will reach Vm, then 0, and so on. So only positive half cycles will be at the output, the negative half cycles will be clipped, and that's why it is also called as negative clipper, or it is also called as half wave rectifier, because your output is only half cycle, the remaining half cycle is removed. So let's go for the analysis of half wave rectifier and see how mathematically we can analyze the working of half wave rectifier. So let us start with analysis. So right, analysis of half wave rectifier. For analysis of half wave rectifier, I will be in need of the waveforms. So let us again draw the input and the output waveforms, because we will be in need of it when I will be analyzing this. So let us have this Vi 0 to pi, to 2 pi, 3 pi, 4 pi, I will say omega t. The upper peak is Vm, the lower peak is minus Vm, and let us draw the output waveform. So it will only be positive half cycle, no negative half cycle, then positive half cycle, and no negative half cycle. 0 to pi, 2 pi, 3 pi, this is your 4 pi. Okay, so this is going to be the output. Okay, now let us try to analyze it. See this. So I am saying that let us apply a sinusoidal wave to the rectifier through a step down transformer. Okay, and let that input waveform be Vi is equal to Vm sin omega t. So I have written the equation for this particular input voltage, which is Vi is equal to Vm sin omega t, and therefore the current equation will be same. It is Im sin omega t. Voltage is Vm sin omega t. If I am writing it in terms of current, I can write it in Im sin omega t. Remember, the analysis can be done in terms of current, it can be done in terms of voltage. That is your choice. We will consider voltage, you can consider current also. The equations are going to be same, only the parameters will be replaced, like current will be replaced by voltage, voltage will be replaced by current, that's it. Okay, so let us try to analyze it. Okay, now see this, what is Vm? I will write where Vm is the thing, but it is called as peak voltage, and Im is called as peak current. Vm is called as peak voltage and Im is called as peak current. Now what is Vm? See, V is equal to IR. So I M, peak voltage and peak current relation, Vm is equal to Im multiplied by R. So how many R's are there in the circuit? Only one, load resistance, right? But if I consider diode not to be ideal, it will be having some resistance in the forward bias, right? And that resistance is, let us say, forward resistance RF. So that is the resistance of the diode plus the load resistance. V is equal to IR. Now from where this RF has come? RF has come from the fact that the resistance will have some internal resistance, and that internal resistance or the forward resistance is considered to be RF, which is very small. So if I consider it over RL, I can neglect RF. Remember this. I can neglect RF if I want. Okay, but for analysis purpose, let us have the perfect analysis, and that's why I'm considering this RF value. Okay, simple. Now let us talk about output. This is what we have considered for input. Let us talk about output. Now output voltage at output is V0 is equal to, see, it is similar to the input voltage. See, input voltage is this much, output voltage is this much for 0 to pi. For 0 to pi, the input is equal to the output. Why it is so? Because in this, the diode is going to be in forward bias and it can be replaced by a short circuit. So V0 is equal to same Vm sin omega t. So I can write, but for what period V0 is Vm sin omega t? It is from 0 less than equal to omega t less than equal to pi. And V0 is equal to 0. See this, V0 is equal to 0 for pi less than equal to omega t less than equal to 2 pi. See this, for 0 to pi, the input is equal to output, that is Vm sin omega t, and for pi to 2 pi, the output is going to be 0. Why? Because negative half cycle is being clipped here. Okay, so this is what we have written. Now I need to analyze the circuit. Now what is the meaning of analysis? See this, we have used half wave rectifier for one purpose, and that purpose was, let us say this is a rectifier, was to convert this AC power supply to DC power supply. Now analysis means how efficiently this device has worked. Like if you pour 1 liter of petrol in your bike, then you calculate how many kilometers it will, of course, we can drive, right? So then we calculate the mileage. Now how we calculate the mileage? We calculate its efficiency actually. We take the output, means kilometers, and we divide it by the input, how many liters of petrol that we have poured, and then we say it is the mileage or it is the efficiency of the circuit. So if I want to analyze, I need to find the efficiency, means how efficiently the AC voltage is being converted to DC voltage by the rectifier, and that will decide how efficient this device is. For that purpose, analysis is required. Now if I want the efficiency of the circuit, so I have to calculate the DC power, I will write PDC, then I have to calculate AC power, PAC, and then I will say efficiency, percentage efficiency will be output upon input, that is PDC upon PAC into 100%. By this formula, I can calculate the efficiency of the circuit. Okay, but to know what is PDC, means power, which is power of DC supply and power of AC supply. These two quantities can be calculated by calculating the voltage and the current, because you know that the power in electronics can be calculated by V into I, or I can say I square into R, but the same thing, or V square by R. So by either of these methods we can calculate the power. So let me calculate DC power. So I will be in need of voltage and current. So I need to calculate DC voltage, I need to calculate DC current. So if I know DC voltage and DC current, I can multiply these two quantities and I can get PDC. Similarly, if I am calculating PAC, I will be in need of AC voltage and AC current. But remember, AC voltage and AC currents are nothing but RMS voltage and current. So I will be in need of VRMS and IRMS. Once these are known, what I will be doing, I will be multiplying them. VRMS multiplied by IRMS, and this multiplication will give me PAC. Similarly, the multiplication of VDC into IDC will give me PDC. See, again, I need efficiency value to decide whether this system is working fine or not. For that purpose, I will be in need of PDC and PAC, and to calculate PDC and PAC, I will be in need of VDC and IDC, VRMS and IRMS, means DC voltage and current, AC voltage and current. So my analysis starts by calculating these values. Means, see this, I need to find VDC, then I need to find IDC, then VRMS, then IRMS, and then I will be calculating PDC from this, and I will be calculating PAC from this, and then I will be calculating what is the efficiency of this circuit, means how efficiently this circuit converts the AC power supply to DC power supply. Okay, so my protocol says I need to calculate DC values, then AC values, then DC power, AC power. So these many values we need to calculate. Let us try to calculate these values and see how easily we can calculate it mathematically. Okay, so let us move ahead and start with the first value, that is called as a DC voltage or average voltage. So we'll start with the analysis. The first value that I need to find is DC voltage or average voltage. DC is also called as average, and let us term it as VDC. Okay. Now if I want to find the average value of anything, so what I need to take is take each and every value divided by the total, right? So if I want to find the average of 5 numbers, I add 5 numbers and divide them by 5, right? So by that purpose we can calculate VDC. So let us try to calculate VDC. So what I will be doing is I will be adding every point, right? We have to add every point and then divide it by the total number of points that you have. So let us add. So adding means integrating. So integrating it over the entire period, that is 0 to 2 pi. Then you have I value, V value. So this is VI, I will say, right? And d omega t. So this part is going to add every point of input voltage, right? And then I need to divide it by the total points. So total points are from 0 to 2 pi. So total points, let us divide it by 2 pi. So add every point of the input voltage by integration and then divide it by the total area, that is 2 pi, and that will give me the DC voltage. That will give me the DC voltage. Let us solve it. 1 upon 2 pi, integration of 0 to 2 pi. Now VI can be written as Vm sine omega t d omega t. Let us divide it into two parts. Integration of 0 to, I will write here like this rather than giving it here, 0 to pi, so I can write Vm sine omega t d omega t plus pi to 2 pi 0 d omega t. The value is 0 here. Only output that I am getting is in the range of for the period of 0 to pi. For pi to 2 pi it is 0. That's why I am considered to be 0. So it will be 0 only. Now I will write 2 pi. Okay. See this. So Vm is a constant thing. Peak voltage. Can we take it outside? So I will take it outside the bracket. This Vm is taken outside the bracket, divided by 2 pi. And in the bracket what remains? 0 to pi of sine omega t d omega t. Very simple kind of thing. Just you need to concentrate a bit. Okay. So it is Vm by 2 pi. What is the integration of sine omega t? It is minus cos omega t. So I will write minus cos omega t 0 to pi. Let us put the limits. Vm by 2 pi minus cos of pi minus cos of 0. So it is Vm by 2 pi again multiplied by, it is nothing but it is 1 minus minus, so it is again plus 1, so it will be 1 minus minus plus 1. So this is going to be Vm by 2 pi multiplied by 2. This 2 get cancelled, so I get the value Vm by pi. So I will write that VDC is equal to Vm by pi. VDC is equal to Vm by pi. So I've got the DC voltage, and that DC voltage comes out to be Vm by pi, where Vm is the peak voltage, and if I divide it by pi, I can get the DC content of that. I will get the DC content of that. Now let us move ahead and calculate the current. So I will calculate here only current. Let us calculate. So I will just divide this page. I will calculate your second parameter, which is called as a DC current or average current, and that is called as IDC. That is called as IDC, small IDC. I can calculate by these kind of formula also, but let us, we are smart people, no? We are engineers, so let us apply some smart formula for this. Now you know that V is equal to IR. So VDC will be IDC multiplied by the two resistors that we have, RF and RL. Right? So from there I can calculate IDC is equal to VDC upon RF plus RL. Therefore IDC is equal to, what is the value of VDC that we have calculated? See, it is Vm by pi. So let us put it here. Vm by pi divided by RF plus RL. For IDC is equal to, but what is Vm? Vm is Im multiplied by Rf plus R. V is equal to IR, so peak voltage Vm is equal to peak current Im multiplied by Rf plus RL divided by pi multiplied by Rf plus R. So you can cancel this Rf plus RL, and therefore IDC comes out to be Im by pi. So it's simple, no? VDC comes out to be Vm by pi, IDC comes out to be VDC comes out to be Vm by pi, and IDC comes out to be Im by pi. Very easy. Okay, I hope you have got this. See, what we need to do is, for calculating the DC voltage, take the integration of the input voltage over the range 0 to 2 pi and then divide it by 2 pi, because when we take the average value, we sum up everything and then we divide it by the total number of points available. So total number of points available from 0 to 2 pi is 2 pi. So 2 pi, 1 by 2 pi, integration of 0 to 2 pi of Vi d omega t. Putting the values, you calculate the value of VDC, which comes out to be Vm by pi, and using this VDC value I can calculate IDC value, which comes out to be Im by pi. Now in the next part we need to calculate the power, DC power. Okay, so I will be writing our third parameter, which is called as DC power, PDC, or I can also write output power, output DC power, represented by PDC. Now by simple power formula, I will write PDC is equal to VDC into IDC. Now what is VDC? It is Vm by pi. What is IDC? It is Im by pi. So I will write it is Vm Im by pi square. Vm Im by pi square, that is the value of PDC. So PDC is equal to Vm Im by pi square. Notice I have this to be equation number 1, because when I will be deriving the equation for efficiency, I will be in need of this formula. In the similar way, I will be calculating the AC values, that is VRMS and IRMS, and from VRMS and IRMS I will be calculating AC power. And once these two powers are available, then we will go for the efficiency. Okay, so let us in the next lecture see the remaining values. So what I will be doing, I will be calculating VRMS, IRMS, then PAC and efficiency. So this is my primary agenda for the next lecture. So in next lecture I will be calculating the AC values, that is VRMS, IRMS, the AC voltage, AC power PAC, and then from there efficiency. Okay, till then if you are having any doubt we can discuss it now, or otherwise we'll stop today. Thank you.